Fresh off the press. There you go. There you go. Nah, that's official. So,
Big fan with the Brooklyn Nets. Wait, start over.
I'll edit it. I'll edit it.
Big fan with the Brooklyn Nets ball. What's up here, Brooklyn?
Right, that hasn't been.
Just give me the ball, I'm fitting the score next. My chair's all net, me and Jay just all next. Getting back on defense, hit him with strong flex. I'm official like a ref, trying not to get attacked. And we go hard on Brooklyn, that's a promise. Watch me like a Cam, cause it's my time. Make you watch me like a Cam, cause it's my time. Switch, they can't guard me, especially side the Barclays. Spin between crosses, I can score with both hands. Midi flawless, and I get to play like an artist. I'm a boss smith, so you should respect my handle. I see the big picture with the Nets like a mantle. In the future, I see us as champs too. And when we do, I'ma do a Brooklyn dance move. Disturb it, or Millie rock like a fan do. And that's a bet like my parlay on FanDuel. BROOKLYN, BROOKLYN,
Yeah, it's Big Fan Breezy with the Brooklyn Nets vlog. Shout out to Scott at a
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
Chilling, man. What's good with you, man? How you doing?
Not much.
Shout your channel out real quick.
Yeah, you can see me at YouTube, Apartment Gamer and more. Got Brooklyn Nets content, and you can also reach me on X at Apartment Gamer 1.
Alright, that's what's up, yeah. Heard you. What you been doing lately? What's been going on your page? Anything we need to know about?
No, just on regular content. On Saturdays I do like content with my niece and stuff, and we talk about just general stuff, like stoop stuff, sitting outside talking. Okay. And then I also Saturday I do the Brooklyn Nets and my basketball thing. Yeah, I was looking at your show. I was looking at your show earlier, and I watched the whole thing.
This one?
Yeah, the one, part one. I guess.
Right. What you doing about
it? Honestly,
part one.
They were talking about the foreign players playing overseas. I think Jay brought that up, right?
Yeah, he probably listening now. I asked him to come on, but he got to be up early.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand what he meant by they wish they could send it overseas, but politically, and plus the American dollar is stronger here. These guys want to play here, so
that's true.
It's
we were
weird.
talking about Russell. It was content that I brought up. It was about Russell Westbrook accepting a 153-year deal.
In what country?
I I'm gonna pull up the info for you right now, and then you know what I'm saying you could get your take on it. And
Yeah.
I've been cutting this show at 2 hours so that way we could get the clip. So basically, I'm saying the same thing that you. You know, you could find your content. You know what I'm saying on the shorts too. It's not just my content.
Right.
Hold on. So, but let me pull up the graphic for you so you can see what I'm talking about. John on the panel with us. What up, John?
Hey, Breeze. Hey, Scott.
Hey, what's up, John?
All right. So here's the post right here. Breaking. Russell Westbrook has agreed to a 3-year, $150 million deal with Hapoel Tel Aviv FC to play in Europe, per league sources. Shout out to FYF Sports Debate. This is content I got from his page. But go ahead, Scott. What's your take on it, bro?
Yeah. Like in some countries, there's basically in the NBA, it's like two countries that people play in. Ex NBA players go to. Majority is Europe, and because the pound is similar to the dollar, if not more,
Right.
and China. And it's not so much that the yang is stronger than the dollar, but the size, the amount of people, you know.
Yeah, I mean, 150 million is 150 million. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you could say 150 million in yang is not 150 in American money.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair to say, but it's still a lot of money.
I mean, it's a lot of money, but in China, you have a bigger crowd. You have more people live in China than the United States.
Nope. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And China's got one of the largest arenas. That's another thing that people don't realize. Your venue has to be large.
But that's not in China. This is in Tel Aviv.
Right. That's Europe. So
right.
Europe has a big venue. So those are usually the two places, France and, you know, and when I say Europe, I mean I include in France, Britain, or whatever, you know.
That's fair to say. So you think it's a good thing that Russell Westbrook taking this money?
Yeah, of course. They speak his language. He can get accustomed. And that's another thing that when you saying that like the draft picks the league wants to, well, the thing is you have to intertwine business with the NBA. You got to understand marketing and how business works. Majority of the big companies are American companies that spend money into the NBA. They don't want NBA players to go overseas.
Right.
They want them to play here.
but he didn't tell. I think that the main thing is that he's at the tail end of his career, so it's accepted. And what Jay was saying, regardless of the money, you know,
he's saying the young people will go over there, and
he's saying that they want to be in competition with the NBA, and I'm saying I'm saying hold your horses, not so sure. I'm not so sure, but he's saying maybe not now or tomorrow, but maybe 15 years down the line. Now I won't debate that because it is.
Well, nobody knows what the future holds.
Right. But I think it's all interesting, and I like the fact that, you know, and not only him. Also, when I had looked up Manu Ginobili, I think I seen him. It looked like he was hooping not too long ago. Like these players still be playing basketball. You know,
right. Well, if you got a following, you should do it. I mean, at the level of the NBA, though, you got to remember. We're talking about big money, companies that own, and see, another thing that's the way United States is set up with NBA, as far as the NBA, they have a lot of arenas here of large sizes. You gotta look at the venue. Like they have in Europe, they have stadiums. Now you don't play basketball outside. You play in an arena.
Right.
So it's a different venue. Like soccer is big in Europe, soccer is big around the world, and they play in stadiums.
Okay.
So I could see football maybe going overseas.
No.
It would be easy to translate into another. You know what I'm saying? Because building a stadium ain't cheap.
No, I
Building an
mean,
arena ain't cheap.
no, that's facts. That's facts.
You need billionaires to invest. They don't. They want sure money coming back. So the United States market dictates that you want to make money.
Yeah. Yeah, again, my thing is I'm happy for because not to say it like that, try to throw Nick Face under the bus or those shit like that, but Ewing and his tail in his career, he was done. You know what I'm saying? He made probably the vet minimum, but that's the story of a lot of NBA vets. So I'm just happy for him able to get a big bag like this at the tail end of his career, and you know what I mean? Shows that basketball is bigger than the NBA. Now, the NBA might be the most popular and the best as far as competitive, but you know what I'm saying? I still feel like basketball is bigger. It's bigger than the national game. It's an international game, just like soccer. It might not be big as soccer, but it's an international game, and I think that's more my point to all of this. But I don't want to be too long-winded because we got a big panel. We got John. We got. You know what I'm saying? We got everything Brooklyn Nets, John. We got Easy and we got Leaf on the panel. But go ahead. Just when you're done, Scott, just pass it to John. And we don't. If y'all don't want to talk about this, we don't have to. Leave me and Leaf. We spoke on this earlier. We got more content. Y'all could just say pass. And if y'all say pass, then the next topic, y'all go first. So
yeah, but all I want to say is congratulations to Russell Westbrook, for getting the contract over there. 3 years. 150 million is pretty good.
Yeah.
So a lot of NBA players older, when they get older, then they're not really old. 30 is not old. 32, 33 is not old. But in their career as an NBA player, go overseas, it works for them. And I'm happy for them.
Yeah, thank you for that, Scott. Yeah, shout out to Westbrook. Veteran in this league, did some incredible things, unforgettable in real time for that I could see, not just Wikipedia and no shit like that. Actually seen it myself. So shout out to Westbrook, man. Definitely gonna be one of the greatest players that ever did it in the NBA when it's all said and done. Hall of Famer for sure. Shout out to Scott, man. Subscribe to Scott page at Apartment Gamers and More. We're gonna go to everything Brooklyn Nets. John, talk this. You want to talk about this or you want to pass?
No, I could talk about it real quick. Listen, shout out to Westbrook. He's had a Hall of Fame career. Unfortunately, he didn't win a ring. I feel like he had a few chances, the last 2 years, but he did his role, I think, admirably, being like a bench guy and then starting with the Nuggets. I feel like he rediscovered some of that old Thunder Westbrook, trying to minimize his role a little bit. But unfortunately, I feel like the NBA, they look at his skill set and they're like, you're not worth the money you used to be worth. Now you're worth minimum. He's like, I still believe I can be one of the best players in the league. And now you have a EuroLeague team offering that type of money. So obviously he's going to take it. And we all agree the NBA is very popular, but is it the end-all be-all for certain players coming towards the middle end of their careers? No, because now you have all these EuroLeagues that want these guys, coming towards the end to come play with them. And if you're willing to offer them a good bag, they're definitely going to take it. So, shout out to Westbrook. I think he's definitely earned that at this stage of his career, and I hope he can win over there. And if he ever decides to come back here, I definitely think there'll be a few teams that could utilize him as a bench piece. So definitely no shame in him taking this for himself. And I just wanted to say quickly about something else we'll probably talk about is I'm excited for the draft right now. I feel like we have a couple good prospects we're eyeing. Jeremiah Fears, I hear, is at the top of the Nets draft board. So if we get him or not, it'd be great. But there's also some other options to consider with Noah Senge, who's definitely moved up the rankings for the Nets.
We're gonna get to all that. I just want everybody to get to this first. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Just end on the Westbrook thing. Yeah, he definitely I guess earned this in the stage of his career. But I also would say this is a consequence of the new CBA system now, where a lot of teams going penalties and they can't offer even minimum mid-level exception money to certain players like a Westbrook. So I feel like this is definitely you're going to see a trend with veteran players as they get older, and you wonder with guys like KD, Curry, and LeBron, and eventually Kyrie, are any of those guys ever consider a EuroLeague trip because you can't pay these guys 50, 60 million as they get towards the end of their careers anymore with the cap and all that. So it'll be very interesting to see what other old veteran stars eventually go through what Westbrook's going through right now. That'll definitely be something to watch.
Yeah, shout out to everything booking this show. You got a logical Raptor fanatic. He's saying it's fake news. To be honest, I don't know how accurate this is, but even if the number is not accurate and he did get signed, I still like the conversation. But 150 million is definitely newsworthy, whether it's fake or real. So we'll see. We'll see. Logical Raptors fanatic. I'll actually do some, looking into it to see how if we could authenticate it. We gonna go to Easy, man. Easy, you think this shit is real? Easy, what's the word, bro?
Yo, I'm hot. Yo, my mic good? I'm straight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you good.
Yo, what's the word, y'all? What's the word? Yo. Okay, hold on. I ain't gonna hold you, my nigga. I'm going to be honest. The minute I popped up here and I saw this shit right here, my nigga, I've been looking for this shit the whole time, my nigga. I'm not gonna lie, my nigga. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's not a lot of people saying he got signed. Now, there is a lot of people that said he got Tel Aviv, I think it is. Tel Aviv is Hapoel Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
They're gonna plan on making a huge offer to him, but I ain't seen nothing about him signing. I can't trust this shit because talking about leak sources and shit, bro. I just saw this shit right here, except with the sign. I saw the sign, and then right next to it, I saw Russell Westbrook is retiring. So, nigga, what the fuck? I ain't believing shit, nigga. I ain't believing shit.
All right. Yo, that again, like I said, we gotta authenticate it. I can't say if this is. Brian said they offered him a bag, bro. So maybe. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
we will see. I don't want to make much light of this because it's a lot of different topics that I wanted to get into. Me and Leaf, we spoke on this already. You want to skip this? You want to go further, Easy, or you want to get to the next jump? What up, Quest One? I see you. What up, Dennis? Right.
Real quick.
Okay, Ice said it's just an offer. Okay, I go with Ice. Yeah, go ahead, Easy.
Yeah, Ice, you know I'm wrong with you. But let me say this though, real quick, and I passed her. Magic Johnson passed this shit to my nigga Leaf. Yo, I know it's a big offer. That number, if that's the number, whatever, that's a big ass number. If that's the number, you gotta think about that. But if this nigga go to the EuroLeague, that's a disgrace to the NBA. This nigga going to the EuroLeague, bro. You see what he did for the Denver Nuggets, and you don't think a team in the NBA could use that nigga right now? You got that nigga walking out of your fucking place of work to go to a whole different country to work? Nah, bro. That's an MVP still right there, bro. Well, not MVP, not Jokic MVP, but that's impact MVP,
Right.
when it counts, even though he reckless. So, man, that would be some bullshit if he go to the EuroLeague, man. That's what I'm saying. That'll be some bullshit. But
you
already
think
know my nigga.
Impact the NBA the negative way?
I mean, it might just be like a passing moment for the NBA. People might not really like pay attention to it. It might not really be nothing. But like for me, like a nigga like that really like loves basketball and then like was paying attention to the NBA. Like so like a nigga
Easy.
like that, he's still valuable.
Easy, I hear what you're saying. Like, I just want to say this to Easy's point. Traditionally, the top talent in the EuroLeague come to the NBA, not the other way around. Whether it be Tony Kukoc, Luka Doncic, Jokic, Manu Ginobili, the top talent in the EuroLeagues, their job is to be the best there so they can get here. I'm not saying that Westbrook going there is the reverse because we try to get them. We get the EuroLeague players in their prime, or we get them. You know what I'm saying? And when they champions, like or something like that, and then we'll get them on the team. Even Drazen Petrovic was hooping in the EuroLeague before he came here. So it's not the exact same thing. So it's like, I don't know. They'll take the veterans from the NBA and just be as valuable, I guess, as the prime players
Well, let me say this real
Bro,
quick.
that's what-
Let me say this real quick. Real quick. Let me just quick story. You feel me? Quick story. NBA story, right? So there was a player named Sasha Vezenkov. He was playing in the EuroLeague. Right before he came to the NBA, he was the EuroLeague MVP. I forgot his numbers, but he was the EuroLeague MVP, right? He came over to the NBA. He caught, I think, a 1-year deal or 2-year deal with the Sacramento Kings. That's when Mike Brown was still the coach. De'Aaron Fox, Domas Sabonis, Malik Monk, all that good stuff right there. That was right after the year they went against Steph Curry, got bounced out in 7 games. Steph Curry go for 50 points in Game 7, right? So they get that nigga, right? They barely play that nigga. And how they play that nigga, they basically put him in the corner. He not even doing anything that he could showcase from the EuroLeague and onto the team. He's just basically a spot-up shooter at that point. We send you a 3, you got to make that corner 3. You send you a 3, you got to make that wing 3. That's basically what he getting utilized as on the team. He leaves that. I think he got buyout. He bought about, or I think he got a player option. One of the two, right? He leaves that. Whatever, he leaves. Go back to the EuroLeague. Right now, he went to, I think, Olympiacos. Shout out to Shaq McKissick. Shout out to Players' Choice. Boy over there doing his thing. He go over there. He is one of the crucial and pivotal players in helping the Olympiacos beat their rival team and winning the Greek championship. We have to start looking at the NBA and saying sometimes, even though there's 32 teams, right? 32 teams in the league, right? Even though there's so many teams right there, and there's like 450 roster spots, there's still not a guarantee that these teams know how to utilize talent and put it on the court and prove it and use it and maximize it at the highest level. Because a nigga like that go right back to EuroLeague, and you could say like, oh, EuroLeague is kind of dumbed down in size. I think basketball is basketball. So if you put them niggas could hoop, because even France didn't have no crazy niggas when they was playing against USA. We had all type of monsters, but they was hooping. So when you put talent is talent, and niggas could hoop. You feel what I'm saying? Nigga was in the NBA, barely did anything, went back to the fucking EuroLeague and pivotal. These teams might not know how to utilize motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah,
And
yo,
they
hold
might
on,
be missing out.
Easy. This is the content we was listening to earlier, and it be intentional. Like they got a draft, they drafted a lottery player, and you know what I'm saying. They want to give them minutes, so they gotta, you know what I mean, take minutes from a different player. You know what I mean? This guy, he speaks to this. We spoke on this earlier, so I'll just breeze through it. But you know what I'm saying? Just to kind of go around the panel, because it's more content for sure. Hold on, y'all. But let me let Easy hear this. Here we go.
I'm averaging 12 points.
My fault, Raptors fan.
I start the season, I'm killing, bro. I had one bad game. Billy Donovan called me in the office. I'm like, what's up? Like, yeah, we struggled a lot with the second unit, the last game. I'm like, one game. I'm averaging 12 points off the bench. Yeah, but I think we're going to go a different direction and try Cameron out. I already knew what it was. I'm in my 8th year in the league. Y'all just drafted him 14th in lottery. And they was waiting for me to have one bad game to do it. I said, that's f***ed up, Billy. That's how it goes. People don't understand. They think, oh, guy's not playing. He sucks. Nah, it's politics. I start the season.
You see what I'm saying, Easy?
I mean, but I think respectfully, Breeze, I think everybody on this panel, and even everybody in the chat, I think we all like kind of knew that too. Like we knew like NBA politics played a certain role into certain things. Not even the fact that like
it was just to add to your point. That's all.
But I think that's now that right there. I think that's a different point because the politics. It's not basically the talent because. Like he said, it's just one bad game, so it's not like you fell off the cliff or something like that. It's not like you was getting utilized. You just had one bad game. Sometimes teams have it's a business plan at the end of the day. So like they're gonna look at different models. So like how you said, you draft a young kid, 14 picks, so they're gonna utilize the young contract and maximize him and try to make him the up and coming guy now. So I think, I mean, it kind of leads to my point, but then it leads into a bigger, broader point with the NBA. Then it gets down a tricky road.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The tricky is always when they get politics is involved. It always gets tricky. Hold on, question: you still can't comment on the shorts? Damn, I'm gonna look into that soon, very soon.
That's crazy because everybody else can see that.
Well, I actually make the shorts for y'all to comment on the shorts. You know what I'm saying? There'll be a lot of good content in these 2-hour streams. That's why I put emphasis on doing it so that way y'all could hear yourself and not have to watch the whole stream or fast forward to it. Yeah, and I'll listen to y'all takes too. You know what I mean? But Leaf, he heard this. Let me see. We got some more content. And I'm saying I just kind of want to recap
Off the bench. Yeah, but I think we're going to different.
bunch of
I get the
recap, bunch of
Houston.
stuff.
The talk is you the missing
all right,
piece.
so
This
let's
first
go to
preseason
this.
game. Let me
Wait,
find
pause
the
the video,
rhythm.
Breeze. I
Get
can't
it
even
shot.
hear you right now.
All right, hold on.
Get the Houston.
All right, so now we're gonna recap this. You know what I mean? We spoke on that. We just gonna breeze through different topics and recap it all. We're gonna start with Leaf. I'll go first, and then we'll go to the Leaf, and then Easy, and work our way back the other way.
What's this right here, though?
This is Carmelo Anthony talking about. I'm gonna play the clip. Let me play the clip.
Houston. The talk is you the missing piece. This first preseason game. Let me find the rhythm. I get it. Shot fake. 1-2 dribble. Pull up. Bang. They like no. It's a clip of me laughing, running back down the court like, yo, my bad. And I caught myself. And this is where like ego comes into play because I'm like, you want me to take away everything that I built my career off of. This is why people know me. This is why people would want me on a team, especially with this team. This is what is missing. You missing a post-up guy, somebody who can draw double teams. You missing somebody who can score 4 or 5 different levels. So for me to come back and practice that week, they put something on the board that says shots per game, what we should score on fast breaks per game, what we should score on free throws per game, mid-range, 12 or less. They break down the mid-range. Who gets to shoot mid-range? CP and me is the only one who do mid-range on that team. Yeah, I'm thinking, all right, cool. You gonna say CP, you got 6. Melo, you got 6. Nah, we want CP shooting majority because he's really effective and efficient. I say, duh. What's up with me? Melo, we gonna throw you 1 or 2 down there. Throw me what? Talking about ego now. I had to really check my ego. I didn't argue it. I accepted it. They told me I was coming off the bench the day of the game. You brought me here to win a championship for what I bring to the table. And then you tell me, don't bring what you bring to the table. We want to win a championship with how we see you. Now, I can do what you want me to do. I'm not going to be as effective with that, though. And I can't come out the gate and shoot 10 to 13 threes a game without me getting to my bread and butter. So think about the mental aspect of that.
See, okay, now basically what I wanted to say is that's the politics of it. And it get tricky, like Easy said. But what I'm saying is this: for franchises to look at Chat GPT and tell a player like Melo what he should and should be doing, they're wrong for that. That's a lot of times what happened too. Sometimes the people in power in the front office aren't actually basketball guys. The boss hired this guy. That's that guy. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that to say that's had to what happened to Melo. How could you take away the midi from Melo? He's the Melo with the midi Melo. Like, what is he doing?
Real quick. And I'm gonna give a rock to Leaf real quick. I just want to put this scenario right here. Imagine you working a job, right? You get your boy a spot. He can't get a job for his life. He begging, he can't get a job. Because Melo went on first take and begged for a job, and he still couldn't get a job. So he begging for a job, he want a job. You put your word in to get him on your job. Now, what your job do is something that he's not accustomed to doing. But what he does, it could fit into what y'all do and probably make y'all better. But once he come in, the boss says, all right, we running it like this. If anything, we're going to use him like this. Now, he says, okay, I'm going to change up my shit. I'm going to hold it down, right? But at the end of the day, it's just not his game. He can't launch up 10, 13 threes and play crazy defense and just give the rock to CP and never take a mid-range. Is that more politics or is that more how the coach wants the team?
Well, we seen how they played the 3 ball in Houston, and it was short of impressive, if you ask me, without Harden. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying though, CP don't get hurt, then we have a different conversation. Then we probably saying Mike D'Antoni's system works.
No, I'm saying no. Not to deviate from whatever my point is, bro. You cannot. This dude, he just said it. He built his whole career off the mid-range game. For him to come in, y'all ask him not to do that. Y'all don't with the vision board. I don't see what vision y'all got. Just sticking a great score in the mid range, in the corner to take the three. That is not smart. So I put that on Houston more than I put that on Melo. As far as begging for a job, he should have never been begging for a job in the first place. I don't know what politics went on with him in, the NBA for him to go bad with them or whatever, or them to do him bad, probably better said. But case in point is, I don't think he should have never went through that talent wise. As far as what he could bring to the team, he could be his central piece if you know what I'm saying. He got the right coach and structure of the team. You know what I mean. You got to know how to utilize your roster. But yeah, go ahead, Easy. Then pass it to Lee. Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, I just think like I said, it gets tricky now, and then we got different avenues we could go down now. Now you could say it's NBA politics, or now you could say, yo, that's how D'Antoni coached this team, and that's how he won it. Like, even though they told him, like, yeah, we will love what you bring to the table, but at the end of the day, they probably really just thought, like, yo, you're a great shooter, so that mid-range should translate to the three-point line. You never know what like, the conversation that could be had in a different room, because they're not disclosing what they're saying or what they're thinking about the other guy. So, real quick, I just want to pass the rock to Leaf, because I've been holding this shit too long. You feel me?
Oh, all right, yo, Leaf, you heard the guy say. What you think about it, bro? What you think about what Melo said?
I think what Melo said is a case of like selective politics, not just politics, but selective politics. When selective, that I mean, like usually with it's cases in the NBA and in the NBA history where they kind of want you to get the fuck out the league, and you kind of know it. You know what I'm saying? With the whole him getting on TV and begging for a job, it kind of reminds me of Iverson after the Denver years, and it kind of reminds me of not in the same sense, but it kind of reminds me how there's certain players in the league you kind of seen like the NBA just did. Like wanted to get rid of. They wanted them out of the league. Melo was part of that.
Yo, Easy. Hold on, just to backtrack a little bit. I just don't like the way it sounds. Begging for a job.
That's what happened, bro.
That's what happened. That's what happened. There's footage of it. There's footage of him on TV, like, yo, begging for a job.
Stephen A. made a whole segment where Melo and Melo put his case on why he's not getting a job, and he's still valuable to the league, and he should deserve a job. That happened, my nigga.
And to piggyback
on, that's not begging, bro. That's
begging,
having
bro.
a voice.
No, that's begging, bro. Niggas came online and said, yo, bro. That's sad, my nigga. Melo shouldn't even be in this position asking for a job like that.
No. Breezy. I'm gonna paint the picture
niggas
because
that man.
The reason why I came off as begging because he did a sit down with Stephen A. on live TV. I don't know why I'm one of the best players in the league. You telling me it's 450 players, Bella, Carmelo Anthony, and Iverson did the same thing when he eventually got traded to Memphis, bro. When he got told to come off the bench, he said, "I don't know no former MVPs that former scoring champions that come off the bench. Why Allen Iverson?" And it's at some point, bro, where your game, where your way of doing things don't work anymore. And when you get older, like Melo got, like AI got, and like eventually, I guess we can now say Russ got. They don't really want to deal with you like that. I say Russ dealt with it a lot better in his role, and when he came from his last couple of teams after his OKC years, he was just getting passed around from team to team. He went from Houston, he went from Washington, he went to the Lakers, bro. Like, and it seems like when you go on that type, when you turn into a journeyman late in your career, your days in the NBA is kind of numbered. You know what I'm saying? So I mean. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I can't really say
until you can find a home, until you can land a home.
You can land a home. Yeah, you can land a contract. Harden is one of those people, bro, that that can maneuver enough and could do a lot of sneaky shit and land a home. You know what I'm saying? He got an extra extension from the Clippers, which I don't know why. Chris Paul still getting $11 million at the age of 40. He's just dudes that know how to play the politics game. You know what I'm saying? Melo didn't know how to play the politics game. Russ didn't know how to play the politics game. Iverson didn't know how to play the politics game. So the league stuck to the plan and was like, yo, let's get these niggas. Let's just pass these niggas around like Philly blunts and get them until they quit.
Respectfully, right? But we have to keep it all in context. Respectfully, right? Even when we talk about niggas like Melo, even CP3, even then, not CP3, Westbrook. Even though they journeyman, there's also, even with the NBA politics playing a role into it, there's a reason at the same time. Their numbers and their production at the end of the day, when they're looking at the numbers, because niggas look at the numbers, right? If you look at the nigga, he averaging 26 one year and he dropped to 21. Now he at 18. You're gonna look at that, right? So some of their numbers, their efficiencies, and then what you saw in the court were dropping. Melo wasn't hitting that mid-range all the time. Westbrook lost that ability to hit a free throw and that mid-range pull-up that he always used to hit. Now he's smoking layups. Now he can't finish dunks, nigga.
You know what the problem?
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I want y'all to hear Jamal Crawford on this same topic. I'm just adding to the conversation. I'm not cutting y'all off. Just listen to this.
Around your career?
I do now, but it took a while to get there. What the kids don't know is I may have needed them as more as they needed me. Because I was so hell-bent on working out every single day, and the call didn't come. Why didn't it come? What did I do? I just won Teammate of the Year 2 years ago. I just averaged 31 for a month. I just had 50 off the bench. Like, what did I do? So I spent a year and a half, and I'm going to be honest, some days you're depressed. Some days you're happy because you think it's going to come. You try to stay positive. And then some days you just don't get it. It was hard for me to watch basketball for a while. When I threw myself fully into the team and the kids, it helped give me closure. I was like, I don't want to miss any of these things. Like, this is the best thing in the world. And that's where the closure came from with these kids. So I'm very, very thankful. I turned down NBA front office jobs. I turned down NBA coaching. I turned down even doing TV work where I had to move, especially this first year, just for the kids. Absolutely.
This isn't the clip that I was looking for, but in the beginning, he speaks on what I was trying to say. In the other clip that I'll find, he was basically saying, like, I was averaging 50 off of the bench, but he pivoted right there and said, why I'm not in the league if that's the kind of points that I'm scoring. And he was basically like, it was because they trying to let in the young bucks, the new blood. You know what I'm saying? The young blood. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's just a real thing that the NBA does because of their template. That's how they build in their brand. That's what they do. So I said that to push back. I said that to push back to say Jamal Crawford still was putting up better numbers than these quote unquote young guys. He probably was still better than some of the players in that same draft, But I will say to this, he probably got the engine, but maybe the cars, you know what I mean? He couldn't put up the same minutes.
Cars too old. That's what it was.
You can even look at Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, once he the year after they got Westbrook and then it didn't work out. They didn't make the playoffs. So then I think he went to Philly, then he out the league, and then he begging for a job. He's saying he could come back to the Lakers, and we all saying the Lakers could have took him back. Remember, he came out. It go right to a breezy point. Go right to your point, bro. So the man came on in an interview. I forgot which podcast he said it, but he's like, "Yo," he came back to the Lakers asking for like, "Yo, I'll take even a 1 year deal and a cheap little veteran minimum. I come back on the cheap." They said, "Yo, we not trying to take no players over 30."
Which is crazy to me, bro. Because
30 is like that's a cool age. Well, how y'all feel? Yeah. How you feel about 30? 30 not crazy.
30 is not crazy. Over 35 is, and respectfully, bro, I gotta listen. While we on this topic, it's one of the more topics that disgust me because how is it that LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant, James Harden, can all start on teams, bro? Like, and they still allowed to put up the same shots that they was putting up in their 20s.
I can tell you why.
I know why. I know the answer is rhetorical, bro. Like, the reason being is because they still have control of this league. But they still allowed. Yes, they do. Hold up. I'm explaining what I mean, and I'm gonna pass the ball.
We want to go around the panel. Go ahead.
I'm explaining what I mean. They still have control of the league. LeBron and Steph still run social media. Like, basically, and so they still run NBA social media. If they're not in the finals, if they're not on the last dude standing, bro, a lot of their fan bases are out. They don't talk at all. They don't mention anything at all, bro. Like, these dudes to a lot of NBA media, to a lot of social media, they basically made the league what it is today. Kevin Durant is the third fiddle because he's always been the one with the burning counts and going back at the fans. James Harden has always played the diva game, bro, because he's been able to get his way and trade his way out of any situation, bro, in the last 5 to 6 years easily. And he still has a starting job.
I want to hear Scott. I want to hear.
The same with Kawhi Leonard. How can Kawhi Leonard keep coming back from injuries and still keep getting paid top dollar? You ever wonder that?
Because they're
not just because of their resumes, neither.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with their resume. It's their marketing. It's marketing, kids. What do you? NBA is a show. It's not sport. It's a sport when we play it outside. It's a show in the arena.
It's a show on television.
It's a show. They jerseys still sell. So that means they still marketable. That means people still go to the game. That means they make money.
It's like
shit getting out of control across the water, y'all. Yes, you just seen correctly.
Bang. They making money.
Loving them. I respect the guys that.
It's cheaper for them to get the young players.
Yeah,
it's cheaper to get them young players. Keep them. They're young. We're impressed by just young players, but we know they're young. Their jerseys ain't selling yet. Their shoes ain't selling the way it should.
Steph and LeBron is still top 5.
There's anomalies. That's why LeBron is still in there.
Wait, hold on.
That's why LeBron is still in there.
We're missing a big chunk of this pie right here.
What big chunk are we missing?
With the scenario that Leaf presented, the big chunk is when you naming people like LeBron, Steph, and KD. When you naming those particular players, they're still elite.
No, they still selling.
No, they're not.
They still selling, man.
No, they're not.
They still selling. Got nothing to do with them being elite.
They're not elite anymore. Hold on.
But hold on. You got to realize. Hold on. These companies, I mean, not companies, but these players, they brand and they become a company and they are intertwined business-wise with the NBA.
Right.
In a lot of, like a spider web in a lot of different ways. So I'm saying that to say somebody like LeBron done made so much money with the NBA that
and Nike and the rest of them.
To be the face of an expansion team. You want to keep him close. Your son, you want him to come to the Lakers? No problemo. We're going to take care of you.
And they don't mind paying them.
Hey, that's something that I don't, as a fan, I don't frown upon. It makes sense. Now, respectfully, on the flip side, somebody like Deion Sanders, he gave a lot to football. He's getting, you know what I'm saying, shunned. You see how they did his son and sent him to the Browns. He was on air, Deion, saying my son would never go to the Browns. And the NFL made it a point to make sure his son went to the Browns. Now
they showed who runs in the show.
I'm saying that to say that those are sometimes the narratives, not narratives, but the relationships you can see with certain African-American males feeling like they need power or should deserve power in all the work they put into the company. Say what you want about it, the NBA and it being a business. When you think about LeBron and what he did for the NBA, far as making it, I guess, better or worse for the NBA, bro, when they look at the numbers, they're going to say, yo, LeBron brought us a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
LeBron didn't do shit.
No, hold on.
No, he made money for them.
Right. So what I'm saying
Jordan
is
made money for them. LeBron was just he made money.
Jordan did too.
Right, but that's
LeBron made money for himself.
Yeah, but I'm just saying Jordan right now is not playing. He owns a team. Jordan owns a team. They gave him his.
Jordan don't own that team no more. And Jordan's logo is on some of these NBA jerseys.
Listen, hold on.
And they making money off of him still.
Before you cut me off, thank you. My point is this: when it come down to LeBron, bro, he made the NBA so much money, and the sneaker companies are in bed with the players or the NBA or both. So all of that intertwined together is making more money in ways more than salty fans who have opinions about why LeBron and is still in the league, bro.
That's why
I'm talking about money hand over fist. Every franchise he went to won a championship. Call it what you want. Say why it happened and how it happened and all of that. That's a fact. You
They
know what
made
I'm
money.
saying?
They made
And I'm
money.
right. So I'm saying that to say that again. This is the reason why they're still connected. And some players, that's why there's a lot of nepotism in the NBA. They're always connected. Their sons are Jace Richardson. They got Nick Claxton. He had Ed Claxton. There's Dick Curry's. There's different fathers that the fathers played in the NBA. Trust me, the Suns are at least going to have an opportunity to get in the NBA. If you don't think Elijah Arenas is going to the NBA, you're just being naive. You know what I'm saying? And at the end, and same thing with Carmelo. Same thing with Carmelo and his son. You feel what I mean? If your son go hoop and he really go hoop, he's gonna make it to the NBA. It's for real, bro. Scottie Pippen's son, bro. There's a handful of players that were veterans that have sons in the league currently right now. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't want y'all to frown upon something that the NBA ain't gonna change. It's gonna be
no. Listen, I'm like all of that is justified, bro. Like a lot in the case of Elijah Arenas and Keon Anthony, bro. There's a big difference between them two niggas and Bronny. Bronny getting in the league is absolutely sacrilegious. I don't give a shit what nobody says, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like
you
we
just
all
can
know
see
this
the
nigga
difference.
You can obviously see the difference. But what I'm talking about is in terms of like, listen, Jordan was mass marketed just on his play alone. That shit was on autopilot. Like the most money that the NBA has seen, bro, was when Jordan and the Bulls were at their best. The ratings were better than ever. Steph Curry to an extent he was, bro, but he had a bit of a push.
It's still happening, bro.
It's to an extent. It's to an extent, bro. Like, and the reason why I explained to an extent because they didn't see it coming. Once the ball got rolling, then they decided to push that shit. At the same time they were pushing LeBron. At the same time they were trying to funnel LeBron. They were trying to spoon feed everybody LeBron. That's why all these fans running around here sick to death. They don't know nothing else, bro. That's why you got casuals. That's why you got people on the internet, bro. That's why you got the Twitter finger people on the internet. That's why you got 2K players, bro, like looking at box scores while they playing the game, talking about, yo, this nigga going off, man. Like I ain't gonna lie, but shit like that, bro. Like this is why you have the NBA that you have today, bro. Wow, in 2020, nobody talks about how in 2020 was the worst finals ratings ever, bro. And LeBron was there, and everybody was sitting at home with COVID. You know, nobody talks about that shit, bro. Like, and now they trying to blame it on the last couple of years where they've been putting the other teams in, and we had all of this parity. We got all of this parity because of the bullshit that LeBron got away with in the 2010s. The bullshit that Steph and KD got away with in the 2010s. That's why we got it. That's why they made the CBA in the first place. Now they had to make a rule because LeBron got old.
The natural evolution of basketball is going to be competitive, bro. I mean, or don't expand the league. Fuck it. You just keep it 12 teams. Like at the end of the day, I'm not versus nobody, or no team should be versus another team just so this team can win. Like, fuck out of here. That's not entertaining. You cheating yourself and you cheating the fans. You don't have to compromise the integrity of being competitive. If you keep that one element, if you keep that element inside of sports, not just basketball, but just in sports, but just talking about basketball, bro. Yes, you're gonna see Andrew Wiggins come off the bench and knock down 17 points. You're gonna and he be a second round, the 53rd, 50 something pick. My point is that a coach is able to see talent, see hunger, see elements of a winner, see elements of a champion, and say, yo, I'm putting this guy in the game tonight. Or, you know what I'm saying? A player could speak for himself, but like, yo, put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game, coach. And I'm saying that to say these are the elements that the NBA doesn't have to fuck with. You don't have to mess with that shit. That shit is just pure spirit, the love of the game, love of basketball. People are going to tap in. And again, when I think about this series with LeBron, and I'm thinking about how fans are saying, oh, look at the numbers. Nobody wants to see these finals. I think about What about when LeBron was getting his ass kicked in the finals by those? But when he had all of these random ass players with him, and you know what I'm saying? That's not more exciting than these finals, where the MVP of the league is in the finals, and y'all not entertained. Y'all, if you ask me, y'all don't want the same ones that's complaining about that. And you gonna complain about LeBron and the same guys going there. You're gonna complain about, you know what I'm saying, the new guys going there. Then you just gonna complain. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody gotta go. You know, and I think the Knicks, and there's some more content I was gonna pull up, and that's why they were saying Tibbs got fired. They were saying that the Knicks fucked up because of the money, blah, 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 all of the money they lost. And
the money they lost for not playing.
Yeah, in the finals.
Right.
Like he was, and when he said it, I see what he was saying, but I still feel like that's still an NBA call in the firing. The Knicks should have protected Tibbs. So I'm gonna let y'all see the content to make my point.
Check it, right? This fire.
That was all the Villanova boys.
I think about it, the more I start wondering, was this bigger than just, the Knicks organization? Let's be real. They already reporting that this finals is one of the most lowest watched in history, right? If not the most. The Knicks was favored to beat Indiana, and we lost. We lost because of the stupid shit that happened in game 1 when we supposed to have sealed that deal. You feel what I'm saying? Whoever wins the first game of a playoff series got a 75% chance of winning the series. We know these things, right? So us not beating Indiana, bro, that shit cost the NBA a big bag, because if the Knicks was playing OKC right now, New York City will be going crazy. Millions of people will be watching the finals, and millions of people will be buying basketball related shit. Indiana is a city that loves basketball. They serious about it. They real basketball fans out there. But their spending power is nothing like New York City. We made damn near $1 billion just with the playoff run in this city that we just had. We made the city damn near $1 billion. You feel me? Businesses surrounding Madison Square Garden, Manhattan in general, jerseys, concession stands. The Knicks generated damn near $1 billion. Imagine what they would have generated if they would have went to the finals. So not beating Indiana, that shit cost the NBA and New York City a major bag.
That's basically.
I want to speak on that.
Can I speak on it first? Can I speak on it first?
Right, yeah. Let me say this. Then I'm gonna go to John.
All right, John.
Now, basically, what I was gonna say was, the truth is this: let the better team win. That's the best basketball, and like he said, there's fans everywhere that love basketball, not just the city. So whatever he said, same thing that's happened over there in Indiana. The whole thing is, I just think what he said is still corny. I don't think there's no valid reason why they should have fired Tibbs. I'll say that. And shout out to Brooklyn LM. That's a dope avatar. What you got on this Everything Brooklyn Nets, John?
Listen, that was a load of bullshit. Are we talking basketball? Or are we talking casino? Because this guy's talking casino, and I can understand why he was saying all that bullshit. But we're talking basketball here. At the end of the day, the Knicks' overconfidence is what led them to losing against the Pacers. Remember the mayor? He had all the street signs before the NBA Finals even began. Everybody's like, oh, Knicks are going to win. Knicks are going to win. Well, they didn't win because you know why? The Villanova boys, each and every one of those three, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, all three of them were crapping the bed in that series because they weren't playing effective defense or playing good team offense. And let's remember, Carthy Towns, the big meow, the guy who can't guard a hooker on Fifth Avenue on defense, he dropped the ball too. So everyone wants to throw Tibbs on the bus. You know what? Yes, he was a hard ass. He was a military sergeant. He ran his players to the ground. But you know what? The guy got results. He got freaking results. And in the span of a year, the Knicks got rid of him and Julius Randle. The only reasons why they got themselves out of mediocrity. You know what you got left now? You have the Villanova frat party being run in New York. It ain't the Knicks anymore. So if they want to hire Jason Kidd, get a Giannis, get a KD, by all means do it. You're still a dysfunctional mess. You have Jalen Brunson's godfather in charge of the team. You have his father making the most money out of any assistant. And everybody's talking about the Knicks being the money hog of the world. No, they're a dysfunctional organization, and they're going to crash and burn the next few years. Well, we got their picks. So at the end of the day, everybody could say, oh, they were good for business. You know what? They may be good for business financially, but as far as a real team goes, they are full of bullshit. And I'm going to pass the ball to Leaf.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, I think everything that you said was 100% right about how they lost the series. We all know how they lost the series because they the Knickerbombers. Everybody know that, bro. Like, listen, but with everything that Dude was talking about had everything to do with financial gain. And y'all might not like it. Listen, I know y'all ain't gonna like what I say, and I'm disgusted at anything that orange, tangerine, and blue in near me, bro. I don't want that shit even near me. But a lot of what he said was 100% true. The Knicks effed up a lot of what the NBA money that could have made. Because had they would have won this series, bro, I mean, we all know they would have got their ass whipped by OKC anyway, even if they did win that series. So I mean, but had they won that series, the NBA would have made a bag off this finals. The NBA would have made an absolute bag off this finals because now you got SGA going to Madison Square Garden for at least 2 to 3 games in the NBA Finals in June. So like that would have been a way to at least market more of OKC in a way differently. Listen, Indiana, great basketball team. I'm not taking nothing away from Indiana. They beat the Knicks. They've been kicking the Knicks' ass for 30 years. Just go all the way back to Reggie Miller '95, bro. They've been kicking the Knicks' ass for.
So where they get this? They should have won. They haven't been winning. They haven't.
No.
They haven't been Indiana.
This ain't got nothing to do with winning. To me, all I'm saying is if it was a split.
Right.
If they would have won that series, bro, we could. There's no discussion that the NBA would have got a bag.
Yeah, we understand that.
What I'm saying is, as the fans, like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. They making money hand over fist. You think I give a fuck if they make a bag? They got a bag.
I don't give a fuck either, bro. I'm just saying what the man said. Just financially, bro. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is with the views, even with the views and the money, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? That shit affected my pockets. And at the end of the day, at the end of the day, bro, I'm not expecting the Pacers to be more. The Pacers is a merger team from the '88. I'm not expecting them to be more popular than the Knicks, but competitive wise, I don't see the Knicks beating SGA and the OKC Thunder in the game.
They would have got smashed. They would have got smashed.
I don't see them beating Indiana. First of all, let's be honest. They got to the Eastern Conference Final. The NBA made a lot of money. Yes, they would have made more money. Yes, they would have made more if they went to the finals. And it would have been a big bag, of course.
That's a fact.
It's been a big bag since they've been in the playoffs. They are the highest priced ticket in the NBA. They made a bag. They made a bag. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games. They made a bag.
But they made more of a bag for the NBA.
They would have made more. Yes, I understand that.
But this is what the NBA is pissed off.
I don't think they totally pissed.
Yeah, but no.
I don't think they totally pissed.
Okay.
Brooklyn LM. The list will be one team shorter once the finals are done of teams that didn't win the NBA championship. And I think that's good for the NBA. That's more so my point to this whole conversation. Do you think that the parity is good for the NBA, or you know what I mean? You rather see I mean, I know you're a Spurs fan too. This kind of, but still, bro, like you understand where I'm coming from, bro. You gotta understand where I'm coming from for this competition and parity, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it would be right for other teams to share the shine and make an NBA Finals. I mean, a championship team is not easy to create. in general. Like it's a lot of work. Sometimes it's a lot of luck. Like it is very, very difficult. Do I believe that Brooklyn can one day be in the NBA Finals? Sure. I don't think anything's impossible, but I think the journey to that is probably a lot further than we would like to have. But I think it's good for the league. I think it would be good to. I don't think it would be bad if every team at least has some sort of championship under they banner. I mean, I don't think that would be wrong. Like at least even if you don't have like 18 or 17 like the Lakers or Boston, you at least got one championship for your team. I think that would be good for the NBA. Like you can still work on work on getting multiple championships for your team, but I think the 3P era in terms of your team going to the finals back to back, yeah, I think that shit is over. I don't think it's going to be VP teams going back to back. I could be wrong, but with so much diversity in each team, even if you're a first seed, you can get eliminated by a team that either they might want it more than you or they out coach your team. Like nothing's up for, it's not a number one team that we've seen in a while that has been dominant, like unless you go back to like the Cleveland days and Golden State days, like. And even then, people was kind of getting tired of seeing that. Like, yeah, it
but
was
that's what I'm
ratings,
saying. Is
like,
the league better that way? Or you feel what I'm saying? Like,
I kind of got tired of it. Once KD went there, I was like, all right, enough's enough. I would like to see a new team.
Let me ask this question. A little twist to the question, though.
They sent the Wolves to 5 straight finals, bro. Like, it is what it is, bro.
Real quick. And we're gonna get to the super chat. Shout out to the super chat. But real quick, would it have been better if, like, let's just say Golden State, for example, it wasn't just Cleveland every year, it was a different team, like those years they was making it to the finals? Would it have been better?
Would it have been if it was? So you saying if Golden State was the team that was going, but instead of Cleveland, it was another team?
Yeah.
I think it would have. For me, I think it would have been dope to see somebody else challenging for the crown. I definitely think so. It would have been dope to see another team challenging for the crown instead of LeBron.
Hold on, easy. I want to address this, but I'm gonna read this. Leaf Diggy super chat first. Leaf Diggy, a moderator on this page. He sent the super chat. Subscribe to Leaf Diggy. About 300 subscribers now, but you know what I'm saying. Run and tell a friend to subscribe to his page. He says the parody is good for true basketball fans. It's not beneficial to the NBA. They are always thinking big money, the most money they can make. Now, I'll say this to the super chat, and then I'll pass it. Now, I think
he's right.
I think the NBA has to.
But I think they want the parody.
I think they have to incorporate.
They don't want the parody.
I think they have to incorporate true basketball fans because you see the All-Star game is a big example of that. ChatGPT said the more points you score, the more they love it. No, as soon as the fans started seeing the jig is up, yo. Like shooting all these 3-pointers, nobody crossing nobody over, getting to the basket, ain't no, you know what I mean, getting to the rim, doing some amazing shit at the rim because everything is a 3-pointer, that part of the game. Nah. True basketball fans have to be intertwined into what the NBA does, and NBA job, in my opinion, is to make it beneficial because if the fans don't tap in, if you ain't got true basketball fans tapping in, fans are fans. But go ahead, Lee, talk to us.
I mean, well, the true basketball fans is always going to tap in no matter what, bro, because we already locked in. When I say the true basketball fans, I don't just mean us. I don't just mean Players Trust, but any other podcast that we ever been on. Those are the true basketball fans. The box score dummies.
Some of them niggas fake. Some of them niggas
fake. Yeah. Some of them niggas are fake. I ain't going to no names, but some of them niggas are fake. But the bullshit fans, the way that you get them to tap in, bro, you got to spoon feed them somebody that they're familiar with, and that's when Steph Curry and LeBron James came in.
But why you think? But your super chat. You said it's not beneficial to the NBA. Why?
It's not beneficial to the NBA because they don't feel like they can make the most money off of a parody like series like this one that's going on right now. It
Well,
goes back to the shit that.
when players hold on, let me ask you this though.
I just think they don't know how
Don't
to
you think
effectively
that?
market
Hold on,
it. I just don't-
didn't you
Of
see?
course they don't know. Of course they don't know how to market it. That's their problem. They don't know how to market it. That's
But
exactly
this is
what
the
it
first
is.
time they've
Hold on, let me
ever
say
been in a
this.
situation
Hold
like
on,
that.
They don't have to market.
Hold on, didn't you see the evolution
They
where
don't.
players are bigger than certain teams? Don't you see that LeBron is bigger than the Wizards? Like
Yes.
that's just what it is. And my point is, it's not such a negative thing when you got KD assimilating the Suns, Phoenix Suns roster, and they were trash because they didn't have a bench because they spent all the money between the three starters, Booker, KD, and Bill. So
Can I tell you? Can I tell you?
the steps to doing the right thing.
Can I tell you a secret? They stopped giving a shit about Kevin Durant once he went to the Warriors and beat LeBron. They stopped caring about
No,
him.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the CBA and how much money you paying your stars.
The CBA.
So now you ain't got no bench because you paid these three players, not necessarily what it is.
But I think that's the NBA's problem because one.
Let me react to all of that. I think that is the NBA's problem, but the NBA's real problem is that this CBA didn't even have to be put in place at all. It got put in place because a lot of players from the previous CBA started taking advantage of loopholes, like Kevin Durant, like LeBron James, like James Harden, like Ben Simmons. They are the ones that's responsible for this CBA being the way that it is. The owners and CJ McCollum, dumbass, decided to take matters back into their own hands. That's what had happened.
Because that nigga couldn't take losing to Golden State every goddamn year.
Because CJ is the head of Players Association. This CBA is in place, but hold on, he's the head of it now, bro. It's not Chris Paul anymore. Chris Paul benefited him and LeBron and the banana boat pockets. That's what he did. When CJ McCollum, when he first got in here, the Warriors had his entire attention. So when he got in place, this CBA is in place to stop another KD situation to the Warriors. That's what it's in place for. What they didn't plan for, bro, is the other shit that's happening around them with the first and second aprons. They didn't plan for that. The players didn't plan for that. All they saying is that they were going to get a bag somewhere, probably were on some team that they probably they won with, and then they was going to go somewhere to a team that they're probably not going to win with, a la Jordan Poole, a la what's the nigga that was just on Denver?
And then to add on to Lee's point, CJ McCollum and niggas is fucking dumb. Because let's say if you get your team, even if you build your team organically, aka OKC, now at the point it's gonna be harder to keep all three of them niggas under your team. Cause you might be in verse of going over the second apron. Now you gotta break your whole goddamn team up that you didn't trade for. You drafted these niggas. They basically your kids, and now you gotta possibly get rid of them because you might be over the second apron and owner's not trying to play.
They don't want it.
Hold on. But hold on. Let me add to that. We're gonna go to Scott. Shout out to Scott. Is the fact that, bro, the players want to be in the situation where they can make a decision too. Yo, do I even want to stay here and play here? Or do I want to take a bag and start somewhere new? Now, the reason why I say that, and I want to go to Scott after this, is because of Harden. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you. When he was on the Thunder, I knew he was good. But I didn't think that he would be putting up astronomical type numbers the way he did when he got to Houston. And I'm saying that to say sometimes only the player himself feel that way that, yo, I could do what Harden did. Go to a team and run that team. Mind you, he never won an NBA championship. But to make it seem like he ain't do a lot for that franchise would be me ignoring the obvious. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's it. That's all.
He never won an NBA championship, bro, but he still got pulled in the league enough to get to still be a starter at the age of 36 when he's clearly slowing down. He's clearly still a playoff dropper, if not worse than what he was in the last 12, 13 years. Why is James Harden still getting top dollar in this league?
Right. And can I also say this to your point?
It's for the work you put in. They got to negotiate the numbers. They got to negotiate what he actually did.
Go ahead.
And those numbers are in like, okay, well, if I put up this amount of points, I should be able to negotiate this, the all-pro team, the all-star team, et cetera, and so on. I think it's because of that. But go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, and
hold on. Scott, let's I mean Brooklyn. Everything Brooklyn that's John. Let Scott go, then you go after him, and then we're gonna go back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the NBA hasn't been losing money. They make money. They've been making money every year. I don't know where this not beneficial to the NBA. They've been making money.
Facts.
I don't know where everybody get this is the worst series. They don't care about the finals. They look at the whole picture. When you market a product, you sell a product, you sell a top product, then you invest into the lower product, and then you invest into the cheapest product. That's what they teach you in college, how to market a company, a product. The NBA is a product. Stop thinking that it's not. Get that out of your head. Please get that out your head.
Hold on, like you listen. Now the not beneficial thing, that's not all the way true.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just letting people know that when they say that they're not making money.
I wrote it.
Hold on, let's keep going around the panel. We're gonna go to John. Go ahead, John. What you got on this?
Yeah, I just want to say to Lee's point. You said that the reason why they did the CBA was for Kevin Durant loophole. Let's remember this too. Kevin Durant's going to be traded this summer, and guess who's a team that could get him? The Spurs, who got the second lottery pick because Adam Silver likes to reward winning teams, right? They could theoretically get Kevin Durant, have De'Aaron Fox, and have Wemby still in his rookie contract. They can still do a big three because here's a loophole. If you do well in the draft and you're a winning team and you get a star prospect in the rookie contract, you can still do a big three theoretically. As much as the NBA says big threes are dead, you can still do it. This is the problem with this NBA. They still want to repeat the same mistakes, but they pretend they're trying to justify and make things fair for everybody when it's just a load of bullshit. They gave Dallas #1 pick because Nico sold his soul, and now they gave it to the Spurs because they want Wemby, a top Eurostar, to be in the NBA Finals as soon as possible because of money. Like, as much as they try to say there's a different sky every day, they still want to make it rain dollar bills when it should be about the sport itself at the end of the day, and that's not what it's about right now.
Real quick, and I just want to touch on the topic real quick, and I think that's where I think the NBA is kind of low-key pivoting to. They're kind of trying to take the model of how the NFL kind of do it. So they're trying to maximize the young guys because they're going to have low-end contracts. So
Right.
you're trying to use them the most.
Yes.
So the teams now are going to use them the most to
Right.
maximize their window to get to the championship. Like I
Right.
said, the problem is this is the first time the NBA is in this kind of space right here because of the influx of talent that's coming into the league. And since, like to Lee's point,
Which I've been saying.
they've been hanging on LeBron fucking coattails for how long, and they can't let go.
Too long.
They don't know how to pivot and market the young guys that's coming into the league right now or what they have right now, and they're still stuck on LeBron. So they're in a tight spot right here. But at the same time, the NBA can't, like, they're stuck because it's the owners that's maximizing this. Look at OKC, look at Indiana, look at Minnesota. These young teams, Memphis, young teams, they're maximizing their young windows. When they have a good team, all right, let's try to put the best team we can around them and maximize that window. If it don't work out, all right, let's try to see which pieces we could break off.
Well, that's where
focus
the
on the
CBA comes in to control it. What they do is once it's time for you to get paid, to get that bag, now the team has to fit a model of how much money to spend.
Facts.
So this
Yo,
is
I
how they
figure it out
control
too,
that.
'cause that nigga
That's how
Bron
they
is
control.
Cody.
So it won't be no more
problem-
3 wins,
Hold on.
three championships in the year. Every 3 years, one guy gets 3 rings or 4 rings.
Problem.
Hold on.
The problem is
Leave, please. Let's go to Brooklyn LM. I wanted him to, because John said the way he said about the Spurs, and I want to know what LM feel about what he said. Like, what do you feel about what John said about the Spurs and them trying to get Wemby to compete sooner than later?
I don't disagree. I agree with everything he said. It's, to me, I still think it's nasty these niggas even got the second pick. Like, no offense, but I mean, at this end of the day, you know, if that's the point, because I think, to John's point, I think they are trying to push Wemby, which is pretty much ideal. I mean, they've been calling this nigga the greatest prospect ever. They've been gassing Wemby up, right? So it makes sense that they would try to put at least some sort of traction towards him, at least by next year, getting in the playoffs. But realistically, the way I'm looking at it is like, all right, well, this is all just a money grab in fucking rating shit. Like, why not help a big market team? Or well, I guess because they got the Knicks, they don't really care. But at the same time, it's like, why not show that love to any of the other teams who, if the players is bigger than the market, help those players have a good team. Like I just said in the last example about how LaMelo is bigger than the Charlotte market. That nigga is one of the most followed Instagram players on Instagram. He's a known player around the league. If he's in a finals or in the playoffs, niggas is gonna watch LaMelo ball out. That's just a simple fact. Like it just don't make sense to me how that love is not spread to other teams.
Not to cut you off, LM, bro, but the thing about the situation with Wemby is before he even got drafted, whatever they already projected, whatever team that he got drafted to, even if it wasn't for the Spurs, that market was going to rise, bro, by at least 5.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
So that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing with
better
Ant-Man.
than Hakeem coming out, bro.
That's what they said, bro. That's not the same thing with Ant-Man. That's not the same thing with LaMelo. That's not the same thing with any of these other niggas on these teams outside of LeBron and Steph. LeBron and Steph have rose. Steph has rose Golden State from $300 million franchise to an $8.3 billion franchise, bro. That happened. You know what I'm saying? But it took a while for it to happen. What I'm saying about Wemby is that they want somebody who in their eyes is an attraction. Their eyes is basically automatic because they don't know how to market the other talent. They didn't know how to market SGA for the entire year, but yet he's sitting on an MVP, a scoring title, the best record for and a damn historic season. They still don't know how to market.
Well, there's a reason why.
Hold on. Can we attribute it to the? Can we attribute it to? Could be because I think it's a push to like the American talent that's coming in next year. I think they're gonna do a hard push for them niggas.
Remember
what I'm saying is
the word you said, American.
But what I'm saying is,
American.
Do you think Leaf that because I think besides Wemby, LeBron worked out, but the dude that they recently tried to do it with in terms of Zion, I think that they tried to push him, but he ain't really working out. John Morant and freaking the court and gun shooting. He ain't working out. So I think they messing it up for the league because they doing dumb shit off the court instead of focusing on basketball.
Well, not really for the league. They messing it up for themselves. The league gonna be okay. They gonna get paid.
Yes, true. So the thing about the league is bro, like this thing it went from an issue, bro, like of the CBA, bro. But if the CBA had the talent, but if this CBA was existing back in the early 2000s when you had niggas like T-Mac and AI and all that shit running around, this shit would be on autopilot because it's easy to market those niggas because those niggas, bro, have marketing values.
Right.
Those niggas like bro, Iverson has way more. Iverson on Philly has way more marketing value, bro, than a lot of niggas in the league today. T-Mac in Orlando has way more marketing value than a lot of niggas in the league today.
To be fair,
Vince Carter in Toronto.
Bro. You got to take the nigga into account. We talk about T-Mac, we talk about AI. Like these are charismatic people. Like they could hold like.
Well, money is different.
But
you know what?
But easy to Lee's point, he's right because there was a good amount of talent. There was a good amount of talent diversity among the league. I swear. All right, if these niggas not working out, we can pivot towards these other niggas.
Exactly. Wait. Let me just hold up. Easy. Hold up. Easy. Let me just put this on your mind, bro. The three names that I just mentioned, bro. Vince, Iverson, T-Mac, it's a common knowledge that them as we know them, bro, on their respective teams when they were playing, they had way more marketing value than the last 3 MVPs. MVPs. Joker, Giannis, and SGA. They have way more marketing value than these niggas.
They probably did, but it don't matter to them because it don't matter to them because since 2001. Since 2001, it matters to the NBA and it matters to how they can get the ratings. Nah, it don't matter. I'm gonna tell you why it don't matter. I'm gonna tell you why again. Here we go again. I'm a billionaire. I own this team. I made money every year. My money been increasing every year since 2001.
You right.
Don't sit there and tell me that they don't care about that.
Scott. Here's the thing.
It's just a perception.
Scott. Wait, Scott. Hold on. There's a difference between how billionaires make their money and how millionaires and everybody underneath make their money.
Yeah, but the league been making money.
Wait a second. I understand the league been making money, but when the league makes when the leagues make every crumb they can make, that's their line. That's their line. Not some just
money don't make money. Leave. Scared money don't make money. They want to make money. They just want to make money.
Making money. They want to make the most.
Yes, but you
possible.
Leave. Real quick. Nothing is ever personal, and nothing is personal, and nothing is always possible. We know there's problems running any company, anything, any business. Yes. So don't sit there and say that, it's got to be perfect. No, it's not.
No, but Scott,
it's not going to be perfect. But the bottom line is my line. My money has to increase every year. If it increases every year, it's good. It's doing good. The model is working. It's working.
No, but Scott, real quick.
Understand this.
Real quick, right to Leaf point. Scott, real quick, right? Because he brought up a good point. Let me just break this down, right? Jokic, right? Because he won the last 3 MVPs in the last 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if he was as marketable, he had the charismatic personality as T-Mac. Are you saying the numbers and the ratings, the money that the NBA is making right now?
Yes, because the NBA is not the same then as it is now.
But the guys that's winning, they don't care.
It's beyond the United States. It's beyond the United States.
Scott,
you're not seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing the whole picture.
Scott, you know why Nicola's like that? Because he values his private life.
I understand that. No, wait.
Because he doesn't let the NBA fester. I know, but Scott, you also got to remember this too. Some players in the NBA in this day's world enjoy their privacy. They don't want to be a tabloid. Look at Zion Williamson for a second. This guy had all the hype in the world coming to the NBA. Now everybody knows about his private life, and it's a freaking mess. This guy's a stalker on his payroll. I don't know if you guys saw that story. Like, there's certain stars who enjoy their privacy because once that shit comes out, Scott, the tabloids, TMZ, eat that up. And their career is under a microscope.
People's attention span don't go that far. Let me tell you something. Be honest. I'm gonna be real honest with you. People are stupid. I don't know if you know that. People's attention span is short. You could talk about something, this is bad. And then 2 weeks later, did you see that play? Did you see that game? Because they don't care. They got busy lives. They just want to be entertained. They figured that out. The league wants to push the game as long as they making money, and the difference between T-Mac time and this time, even though Jokic is not that open front person, is that you got to remember the NBA is looking at the world. They're not looking at just America.
But
they're not just looking at money.
That's the problem. The
T-Mac time, they were just looking at the market here.
But Scott, that's the problem. The NBA is trying to do too much lifting away. What they did in this draft lottery, giving Dallas Cooper, giving the Spurs too, they literally told these other bottom markets that it don't matter how bad you guys think, we're not giving you that pick because we want to reward the good teams. But that's not how you play it fair. That's how
they don't care about fair. They care about money.
Wait, Scott, wait. This is the problem. This is how you kill the market because all these fans who wait, Scott, look at these fans like Brooklyn, man, who showed up to watch all these crappy games because they thought realistically that we would get no worse than a top 5 pick. and we didn't. You see how bad the Nets fans were that day? I'll never forget, man. Everybody was dead silent, man.
Let me tell you something, John.
Teams like Utah and Washington feel the same way, Scott. Because the NBA
John, you own a company, right?
That same night. Don't do that, John. I popped out that same night.
No, I know you did, Breeze. I appreciate you did, but man, it was a sad feeling, man. Because I hate when people that I talk to feel that way. Because I wanted every Brooklyn fan to get a top 3 pick today. I wanted, but I also knew in the back of my head, mathematically, we were probably going to get screwed that day. But I don't want to say much. But man, it's a horrible feeling. Because this is
if you own a business, right?
Bro, don't remind me about
if you
that.
own a store, say you own a store, and I told you this year you make good money, and then the next year when you do your taxes, everything is lovely. You made some money. You made back your money and some. And then next year you didn't make money. Would you be happy with that?
Of course not. Everybody wants to make money, but
okay,
Scott,
so what you think they in the business doing? What possibly could you think this NBA league is in the business for?
They're becoming corporate.
You think they just
Scott,
love
and that's
basketball
what's killing the
fuck
sport.
money?
But Scott, that's what's the problem with the NBA. They're becoming corporate. They're becoming like a McDonald's. They're becoming like a food franchise, serving the same shit over and over again. That's a problem.
Let me offer this
nothing
though,
new.
right? Let me offer this though, right? Because I think the players in somewhat of the NBA, it goes hand in hand, right? Like
Right.
when we
They
look at
want money too.
when we look at even with when we was talking about what Easy was bringing up with like Steph and Golden State and Cleveland or whatever, I'm sure that's the most money the league has made off those series.
It might be the most money them players made too.
But keep in point, right? I think when John is talking about bringing Cooper to Dallas and Dillon to San Antonio, like we got to remember Steph and LeBron they didn't exactly go to big markets. They went to small markets. But the fact of the matter is, Steph ain't coming to the league as big as LeBron. He worked to make that market the way it is today. He put in the work to get there. I'm sure Golden State was like, I don't know who this Steph kid is. He was a dog at Davidson. But all right, let's draft him and see what happens. And they are the #1 franchise today in terms of money making. So realistically,
and that market wasn't that market
right,
was
and
not
the market
hot.
was nowhere near that. In
nowhere near it. Everybody
close, right?
ate off of that. Every team in the league ate off of Steph.
With Steph, it might be an anomaly. Even with LeBron, we all know LeBron was in the league.
It happens every 10 years. They keep doing this model.
But to John's point, I think LeBron might be too. But I think to John's point,
Michael Jordan was too.
I think the league is kind of forgetting that maybe make the player make the market bigger than what it is. Maybe make that in terms of
they're not going to. You're not going to lose control. You're not going to give it to somebody else. But as an owner, you're not giving nobody else control.
They've already lost control the last few years. That's why they do the CBA. But stars were getting paid and asking out every time they got unhappy, Scott.
I'm not going to build an arena.
This
I'm
ain't
not
getting
going
back
to spend
control.
my money and not be on top of the game.
But let's put up a hypothetical, right? Let's say Cooper Flag turns into the American prospect that the league wants him to be, right? Who's to say
that jersey is hot.
Who's to say? Yeah, those jerseys are nice.
That
But
shit is
who's
fire.
to say?
You don't like them?
I like them.
I think I'm gonna get one of those.
But who's to say, right? Because they complain about I think the league makes money regardless.
That's that net shit. I'm sorry,
what I'm saying, I'm with Scott. I think the league makes money regardless. But who's to say that in general, Cooper Flag turns out to be the player that they need him to be. He turns out to be an all-star, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Why in their eyes, we already making money, true. But with this white American prospect that we trying to develop,
you make more money.
Why not put him in New York? Why not put him there? Now they
Because-
didn't do it with Zion with the Knicks, so I understand that they didn't do that with the Knicks because they had the worst record. They were supposed to get Zion, so they didn't do it with Zion with the Knicks. But realistically, it would have made
story. They had a better narrative and storyline on their plate with the Pelicans at the time.
True. It could be a better story, but then again, that's the
Cooper Flag. They got a better narrative and a better storyline.
But easy, that's the point. That's the point that niggas is saying. That niggas is tired of that because if you feed it into storylines and bullshit, what about the rest of the other teams?
I understand. You can't. Everybody.
We understand that, but at the same time, what does that mean for the rest of the teams?
It doesn't hurt the rest of the teams. It don't hurt the owners. Well, let's just put it this way: it hurt the fans, but it don't hurt the owners.
You know what? So,
but we talking like it necessarily always work out in the favor of the teams that's getting that number one pick.
It always works out for the owners. It don't work out for the fans.
But sometimes that whole situation doesn't always work out for the owners. Like
why not? Why not? They share the money.
Wait, real quick. I'll take 1 year that goes underrated, right? 1 year that goes underrated, right?
What?
DeAndre Ayton, he was the number one pick that year.
Yeah.
They didn't have to really pick him, but they picked him because Phoenix got the number one pick and he went to Arizona. So you're like, all right, pick the hometown talent. It didn't work out all the way for them, but narrative fed right into that. Yo, all right, so you got Luka on the table, but I'm gonna pick DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah. I mean, the NBA don't really care. Because,
like I said,
it works out for the owners.
But considering Harper is from Brooklyn, guys, imagine the reaction Brooklyn would have got on draft lottery day if we would have got one of those picks. It would have been the buzz would have been insane. And can I say this to you, Scott, about the Nets? Even at our worst time right now, we are number one sports team in TikTok in likes, and we are the number one New York team on Instagram with followers. Even during our toughest times, the popularity of this team still grows. And the fact that the NBA doesn't see that because I guess they like Mark.
They see it.
They see it. They just don't care.
If they would have seen it, they would have made the buzz happen because you know what?
But you can't do it.
Always connected to stars. No matter what.
John, they got their hands in everything. They got their hands on everything. They're not worried about that.
The Knicks is good, so it's like they don't really. It's like they don't really. They're not going to really pay attention to.
The Knicks had the worst record in the league.
The Knicks is good. They don't care,
and they generate the most money. Come on, what the hell you want me to tell y'all?
Hold on. Let me see.
This is no better than that.
Hold on, y'all. These are the teams that don't have no NBA championships besides the Denver Nuggets.
Damn.
The Denver Nuggets. I guess this is an old list. But
it's enough.
It's enough to show you guys. It's enough to show you guys the point.
Well, I don't know how you feel about the Vancouver Grizzlies. I don't know if you want to count the Grizzlies. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I know that.
Hold on.
The Grizzlies, the Clippers, and the Hornets, bro, is the only three teams, bro, that's irrelevant in this conversation.
Hold on.
Ain't even been
Hold on, bro. Can I please not get cut off? Please. Utah Jazz, perennial contenders. This is what they consider them. Orlando Magic, close but no title. That's what they say. Minnesota Timberwolves, mediocre history. New Orleans Pelicans, failed expectations. Phoenix Suns, historic final losses. Memphis Grizzlies, grit and grind. Clippers, rival the Lakers. Indiana Pacers, multiple ABA titles. See,
they do have ABA titles.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. What it say? Denver Nuggets. We know they don't belong there. They just recently won an NBA championship. Charlotte Hornets. Hold on. Let go, man. No, that was time out. Somebody missed it, bro. You don't pass the ball, man. Hold it down.
Go ahead.
Somebody okay?
Charlotte Hornets.
Underperforming franchise, Charlotte Hornets, Brooklyn Nets final appearances. So basically what I'm saying is the Phoenix Suns, you see how they put KD, Bill, and Booker together. They try to get them to compete. The Pelicans, multiple times they had draft capital with Anthony Davis to Zion to Drew Holiday, so on and so forth. Minnesota, they doing it now where they invested in them. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that they're not invested in the Pelicans. It's just that they were and they were trying to get back in the draft, in my opinion. Right? Hence what Leaf was saying about how Joe Dumars went from the front office to the Pelicans front office. Orlando Magic. You already see what it is with them. They building what they got going on. The Utah Jazz, they stocking up on draft capital. But again, the NBA is looking their way, you know what I'm saying? Seeing that the teams that don't have NBA championships are either in the playoffs or close to it. The Memphis Grizzlies in the playoffs, Clippers in the playoffs, Pacers in the finals, Nuggets in the playoffs, Charlotte Hornets, they got to rebuild. The Brooklyn Nets got to rebuild. So for the most part, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams, well, just say 10, let's say 10 because you can't count the Nuggets. How many? I'm just counting the numbers. How many teams were in the playoffs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half of them. Half of the 5 out of 10 of these teams that don't have an NBA championship was in the playoffs. And I'm just saying that to say they look in their way. They can hear the fans that care about more than just the hub teams. And the hub teams are how they built the NBA on the founding NBA team. So yeah, I'm done. That's all I wanted to say.
Whatever you was trying to spill on that, I was about to say the Sacramento Kings is missing from this equation, bro. Like them niggas ain't been going. Yeah. Well, no. Technically, they was the Rochester Royals.
They the Royals. That's why they not up there.
Because of that. That's why they not up there. Because of that Rochester shit. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying with the Grizzlies now. Like, yo, if you want to count the Grizzlies, I mean, they was in Vancouver. They just gave it up to Memphis. Pause. So, I mean, like, what's going on?
But they still sucked in both places, my nigga. Like, it didn't matter. Like, I mean,
no, but I'm saying they went to the playoffs. You see, they got all of the draft capital with Triple J. They got John Morant. They got Gigi Jackson. They got Zion Williams. Say what you want. He was still a lottery pick. He was the 10th pick. You know, they got Zach Edey. They just recently got Zach Edey. So, you know what I mean? It's not like they don't get draft capital. The teams that don't have NBA championships, my point is the teams that don't have NBA championships, all of those teams for the most part got way more draft capital than the Brooklyn Nets. And
I think sold our shit away. That's why.
Yeah. You're talking about
they did what, Ella?
Like, all the time
we sold our capital away. That's why we got more picks than we did.
Wait. We talking
about
I
guess more chances.
Like right now.
No, I'm talking about in Brooklyn since they moved to Brooklyn.
Right.
That's why they've had more chances. We sold our picks away. We sold our capital away.
So now we're talking about Brooklyn history. You're not talking about New Jersey history and shit like that.
Nah. New Jersey history. They've had top 3 picks. You got Kenyon. You got
not more than these other franchises.
They had good teams in Jersey.
Right, but Jersey has had top lottery picks, is what I'm saying. Like,
they did.
In the lottery.
Kenyon Martin. Kerry Kittles was top 10. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
but they were
Jersey
decent teams. They were decent teams.
Jersey had way more
I'm contrasting it to the other franchises.
Yeah,
all of the other franchises in the NBA probably have more draft capital than the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets.
That's because they've been stinking for longer than us. That's why.
But they also didn't trade their draft capital away.
Right.
They kept their picks.
But Brooklyn.
That's why they've had the opportunity to draft these players.
Right. And this is Brooklyn's first ever lottery pick in their history books. That's why you felt so down on draft flyer because you wanted it to be a special pick. Now it's like we're hoping that Jeremiah Fears comes our way or a Noah Senge. Like I'll be fine either one of the two, but you kind of wish you were a few slots, up because you don't have to worry at that point.
I think that's overrated. Stop that. Stop.
What's overrated? Wait, Scott, you're telling me that Dylan Harper's overrated? That Ace Bailey's overrated?
They just got to do the diligent. They got to do work. They got to pick right.
Yeah, we've been saying that. How many months and years that Sean Marks needs to do his job right? And the guy always screws the bed. Scott, this summer, there's no mistakes. There could be no mistakes this summer. Sean Marks and Jody Tsai.
8th pick in the league right now that's a bona fide superstar.
No, there's no even
Bro,
a
we can't
first,
do it on analytics, bro.
you
We
can't possibly say
But
just
it's
because you the first pick,
history.
you're gonna be bona fide.
Who do you know that was picked 8th? That's a legit superstar that you've seen in the past.
I know
few years?
people that was picked
But
later.
here's my thing, right? Here's my thing, right?
I know people that was picked later.
You looking at like, yo, the
Exactly. That means we fucked it up. That means whoever got the 8th
But we
pick
got
fucked
picks
it up.
later too.
But hold on, real quick. But
how many
my
of
thing
them
is, like,
niggas
you're
was
looking at the
stars?
probability
There
of
was
picking a
stars later
superstar
on.
or a star in the
Oh,
8th pick.
we have
How
to
many
go
stars
over
did
this
we pick?
again.
Meanwhile, I'm looking like drafts were like Donovan
I think
Mitchell
the
and
MVP was
Spider
second
and
rounder,
Bam
wasn't
went
he?
like 13 and 14. So it's like,
But
Right,
we
but
didn't
we
pick.
saying
Don't say it's an
them
anomaly.
niggas went 13 though.
But we
talking
didn't
about
pick
who
them.
in the 8th spot that has been a
But
star.
it go to Scott's point though. If you pick right, you
gotta
beat
pick
that,
right.
You beat that number right there. It don't matter about
Who
that.
just said they ain't right in the draft?
So Scott, here's my question,
Is
Scott.
it me? Is it that the 8th pick brings some taboo?
But
Wait,
what
what
I'm
else,
saying
Scott?
is-
I have a
what I'm
question.
saying
So
is
Scott,
the person at
So-
the what I'm saying is the person at the 8th pick in that draft, whatever year you want to go to, at
Yeah.
that time may have been the right pick. Yo, that's a correct pick.
But that's
to
not
me.
okay.
It
So then
could've
that
been.
means they got nothing to do
All
with
of this
it
is in
just being
hindsight,
in the
unless you see
early
which
rounds.
player develops more than the 8th pick. All of this is in hindsight, unless you
8th
see
pick has
which
never
player
done
is
anything for anybody.
Yeah, but I'm just
forever.
saying. I just don't want it to feel like the 8th pick is taboo. That you're gonna get a scrub at 8.
Scott,
I
it's
mean,
not about the player
only
being
thing
a
capable of changing that history is us right now. Because
Scott, it's not about the prospect.
No 8th pick besides in the past few years has ever turned out to be real.
But
Scott, it's not about the prospect being a scrub. It's like, say you have Noah Senge and Jaeger Demon on the board, but Common and Fears off the board. If Sean Marks chooses Con Knipple over Senge or Jaeger Demon, are you happy with that? Did Sean Marks make the right decision, or did he make his
I
decision?
don't even know what he's gonna pick. Be honest with you.
Well, those are the names I've heard. I've heard Jaeger Demon. I've heard of
There's no way
Senge.
nobody know
I've-
anything about that because none of these GMs are gonna play their card.
Yeah, but
They're
Scott,
not
we've
showing
kind of
you what they're gonna
we've
do.
kind of see we've
Because
kind of got an
there's-
understanding over the last few weeks. Even Nets Kingdom today said kind of who's at the top. Jeremiah Fears at the top of that list. They didn't say Manuel because he might be chosen in the top six. But I've also heard of Senge. I've heard Carter Bryant, Jaeger Demon, and unfortunately, I've heard Con Knipple. But I look at Con Knipple. That's not a difference maker type prospect. That's a guy that can score. But does he add anything different to what we need right now? No. I could say Maluak, Fears, Noah Senge, even Carter Bryant add more to this team than Con Knipple could have. But for some reason, Mark's infatuated because he's from Duke. Like, would that be a horrible decision if he chooses the kid just because he's from Duke, as opposed to the best player overall at that point?
Well, we gonna see if they because the fan
gonna
base
find
likes
out,
to
right?
praise them
We're gonna find out in a couple of years,
finding a
right?
diamond in the rough. Shit, they did it with Cam Thomas.
We're gonna find out real
see.
soon.
If he chooses Con Knipple, Twitter's gonna be a bloodbath for Brooklyn Nets. I
he
swear,
ain't gonna
man. It's gonna, yeah. Well, let's hope not, man. But you know, if Fears and Manuel go off the board, that's a worst case nightmare for me because
I've
he
been
might
hearing
choose
a lot of
between him and Noah Senge, Jurgen Demon. Honestly, I would choose Jaeger or Senge with the 8th pick over Con Knipple if I had a choice in the matter because those two actually add more to the team than Knipple would. Like I don't
one thing
know.
I can tell you this, bro. They got Con Knipple going number 6, bro, or a pick before Jeremiah Fears. So I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
One thing I will
but
agree with
yeah,
Scott
you
on
know,
is the
you never
fact
know.
that there is you can find talent throughout the draft. It doesn't have to be top 3 or top 4.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying it. That's all I've been saying is stop focusing on just. I mean, it would be nice to move up to get who you really trust. If Sean trusts one player that he really wants in the early round, in like 1, 2, 3, or 4, and he can move up to get it, but he's putting all his trust into this one player. That's
you know what? It would mean he has a backbone.
But if you don't have that trust,
backbone, Scott,
if you don't have that, no, you need to. You need not to say anything. You need not to say anything.
Everybody in this party right now, bro. Like I'm gonna tell everybody in this party right now, bro. Like, listen, getting a solid player, bro. is not good enough for the roster that we have. We need a goddamn game changer. It is clear as day.
Yeah, we need.
If we don't want to go back to the free agency polls,
That's true. It's going to be more than just one piece.
Spin a bag. If we don't want to go spin a bag on a nigga that's that we gonna bring in our star player. If we don't want, but
they got to.
Listen.
They got to spend some money. They got to spend some money.
They got to spend some money. But I'm talking about
a bag. A player that's going to be a game changer though. It's going to be on a player that's
maybe next year. Maybe
I
next
don't
year.
think this summer they're signing any restricted free
Maybe
agents
next
other
year
than Thomas and Dayron. Other than Thomas and Dayron, I don't see him going after anybody right now because that's wasting cap space at that point.
That nigga is not pulling up to that shit is done.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen really until it really happens. But it's just speculations, a lot of speculation, a lot of talk, but definitely going to be some movement. But
There'll
next
be a lot
year,
of movement this summer.
I just don't think you
movement.
make a move for a player unless it is a player that can either get you to a finals or at least a playoff spot.
Or they could be a number two.
That's the only time I'll be like, all right, Sean, you can spend the money to get this player. He at least gonna take us to a playoff spot or whatever. If there's no player like that, don't spend the money. In my opinion, just don't.
I don't see it.
I'm not with it.
Right.
I think Sean knows. I think Sean knows that.
My conversation. The only thing I wanted to add to the draft conversation is that again, I think Jordy Fernandez can make this player a two-way player. He don't have to move the needle until he's a star because he's going to be the 8th pick. So the expectations isn't the same as the top 3 pick. I don't believe that a top 3 pick and an 8th pick is going to be the same expectations. That's my opinion. And on that note, I think that Jordy Fernandez has shown that he sat Cam Thomas down because he wasn't playing the defensive side of the ball. I do think that he can make this drafted player into a two-way player.
What player is that?
Yo, Leaf, your eyes are mad wavy right now, man. How you doing with that right now? Yo.
I really believe that.
I want to know what player he talking about.
No. I'm saying it don't matter. It's going to be a Jordy Fernandez type of player. Jordy Fernandez, again, that's the thing. It ain't the whole object around play. I mean, fans was, whoever comes here, we're going to build this team around him because Cam Thomas isn't talented enough to do it, blah, say, blah. All I'm saying is that Jordy Fernandez is trying to establish a culture where you get 1% better every day. And if he basketball, talk about motion. Remember, he got some experience with national teams, with seeing overseas basketball. He gonna want the ball to be moving around. He gonna want a point guard to facilitate. He gonna overall think that winning the basketball game is due to a collective, not just one or two players. I ain't gonna front like I ain't see the pain in his face when he seen he got that 8th pick. Not gonna pretend like he
did look upset.
See,
he was like, "Dang,
the top pick." You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, he did.
I do believe
he was tight.
He was tight. He believes the system of winning, opposed to let's bank everything on this superstar player.
I don't ever want that nigga going to the draft lottery ever. Don't ever send that nigga to no draft lottery ever again.
I'm just glad they didn't send. I'm just glad they didn't send Whammy. Whammy would have been like, "Whew."
Hey, bro, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, you know what, bro? You know what? Hell no. They should have sent Cam Thomas either. They should have sent the owner of the New York Liberty, nigga. That's what they should have sent. They should have sent the owner of the New York Liberty, bro. So
that's why.
Yeah. So we can go winning.
LM said it. LM is the one that
Leaf. We're gonna send Tucson for Walmart next year at the lottery, man.
Send Sazwai. Sazwai.
You ever heard of something called a poker
face?
face?
The damn team no more.
No, but did you ever heard of something called a poker face? Yo, Jordy Fernandez does not have a poker face.
No, he was tight.
He really does. He can't. He is not going to keep it secret.
Yo, when it said 8, I saw his heart drop, bro. That nigga
was. When it said 8, nigga, I turned off the stream, nigga. I was out.
Yeah, but I was streaming. I was streaming too. I turned it off.
I was tuned in to leave fucking stream. This nigga fucking turned it off and ran off. I'm like, what?
Me too. I said mine's off.
I said no. I said no. You're not gonna disrespect me like that. No.
Leave that flat Chicago. Leave that flat Chicago.
No, but you know what was funny? They asked Elijah a question. It took them like 10 minutes
This
to
man
answer.
didn't even wait to the finish, bro. This man's
I'm-
eighth.
No, I'm not waiting to the finish.
I ain't gonna
I'm
lie. I know we was 8th, but when I saw Toronto at 9, I was weak because those are the niggas we was trying to battle with to make sure
Right.
that we didn't get. Like,
I was happy
over
at that
there.
point.
Yes, you and everybody else.
Until they said 8, I looked at fucking Jordy's face. His shit was like,
Yo, they did
fuck.
it so nonchalant for us. It was like Brooklyn. Like everyone's like, "Oh shit."
I said, "Oh, that's fucked up."
Yeah, and when they
As soon
was
as I saw
reading-
Dallas in the top
when
4,
they-
I knew it was gonna be some bullshit.
Yeah,
Nah,
me
when
too.
When they
As soon
was
as I
reading
saw
it
that,
down from 14, I was every time they picked the number, I said they ain't gonna give it to me like that. It was
I
like
said
14,
Dallas ain't gonna be
13.
number
So I was
one.
like, oh nah, they ain't give it to me. When
To
they
be
got the
fair-
10, I said, oh, they starting to respect us. When they got the 9, yo, when they got the 8, I was like, nah, these niggas is doing us real bad.
I wasn't really scared
I ain't gonna
around the 14, 13, 12 mark. I wasn't really scared. I was like, yeah, we ain't falling that far. Like niggas, they ain't gonna play us like that.
I ain't
When
gonna
they got-
lie. Yeah, that's a Dennis
I felt
Miller,
like
no,
we should have
because
got
he was
5 or
there.
6, man.
I
I
was
felt
like,
like we should
nope,
have got
nah,
5.
get
5
up
would have
out of
been
here.
righteous.
I thought we were. I thought high key. I thought we was
I
gonna
felt
get
like
6.
5 was disrespectful, bro.
Yeah, but I
Like,
felt
that-
bad.
I thought we was
But
gonna get 6.
Washington should feel bad too.
I wouldn't have been mad at 5. I wouldn't have been
No,
mad.
Washington should be bad. Should be upset too. They tanked so
Utah,
hard.
and Utah should be tight.
Yeah, Utah too.
Yo,
they should
yo,
be tight.
Yo, Danny Ainge was so upset he had to hire his son to be the president of the team. It was so bad.
So I don't feel too bad, but they should be tight.
Charlotte got
Oh,
4.
Charlotte got 4. Charlotte got 4.
Charlotte.
I think Charlotte was.
I feel like
I think Charlotte
Hornets-
had the third best odds. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
Hornets were like the only deserving tanking team to get those odds because they tanked properly. Like they were the only team I felt deserved the 4th.
Yeah, but I would still be
Yeah.
mad too, man, because I should be number one, man. I
So
thought
what we
they
saying?
should be number one.
Washington and Utah didn't tank enough. Why? Yo, Utah ought to stop tanking, bro. This is their only top 5 picks since they got
I mean, to
Danny
be fair,
This is
Washington got the
ridiculous,
second pick last year.
Nah,
so,
you know what Utah's problem was? They made it so blatantly obvious. Like they rested their starters the whole season. Laurie Market had more injury designations for not being injured. I think the league's like, nah. At least the
So-
Hornets, most of theirs was injury ridden.
So we
That's
know
why the
now
Hornets
that
got that
tanking
pick.
don't
Okay,
work.
you trying to shit on Utah? They drafted right. You while you
Listen, tanking don't
But
work.
hold
Tanking
on.
don't work,
Wait. If you're gonna say that about Utah, what was Philly's case? How they get a higher pick than them niggas?
Yeah, tanking don't work. Tanking don't work.
Yeah, if we had a worse record than Philly, it might have been a different conversation.
Tanking don't work, man. Tanking don't work.
We got through this already, bro. If Philly didn't get that top pick,
niggas
bro,
the third
that
pick.
shit would have went to OKC.
Yeah, but tanking
and you would
don't
have been
work,
giving
man.
OKC
That shit don't
enough
work
fuel
like
to
that.
really
That's
put in a
not good.
dynasty. As the NBA, do you want that? No, that's what I'm saying. Like the NBA,
That's why Philly got the number 3rd pick, bro. So OKC wouldn't get rich on their watch.
but this is why I go right back to your point, right? That's why I'm thinking the NBA want parity, because if they just wanted, they would have never put Philly there. Philly has no business being right there. But if you don't give Philly that pick, it goes to OKC.
NBA don't want no damn parity. They want a juggernaut, man. Hell with all that bullshit.
Philly's a car wreck, man.
They want a juggernaut, and they trying to create
bro.
San Antonio, bro, and everybody up in here going.
If it's anybody that know the freaking tanking odds, it's
Parity been
Daryl
good
Morey,
in the
bro.
NBA.
That nigga
Even
know
if
the
they
tanking
trying to
odds.
build
He's
it,
been doing
it's been good for the
years.
NBA. Go ahead.
You
I'm
can't
sorry.
build a team off of tanking, man.
No, Ellen, no. What was it? My fault, Ellen. What was you saying?
No, I was just saying. I was
No,
just
they were
saying,
giving
if
the
it's
fucking
anybody that know
tank.
the tanking odds is Daryl Morey. I'm not surprised nigga was probably like, yo, if we get this
Nah.
fifth spot, oh yeah, we definitely gonna be top 3. Like
Nah,
that nigga been doing that shit for
no way.
years.
There's no way they knew that.
Philly's a car wreck, man. They are financially screwed with Georgia and Embiid. Don't matter if they get
But
they got that third.
I don't want to hear nobody saying.
If I'm looking at the past few odds of teams that got the 5th spot, them niggas landed in the top 3. I can't be mad that Philly landed in the top 3 if in the 5th spot is known for teams that landed in the top 3.
I mean, respectfully
Yeah, but
though, like
it
the
shouldn't
last
be
team that
that
got the
if
fifth
you
spot,
know
last
you're going to
year
be in the
was
5th
so,
spot,
like,
you're going to
Detroit
be
just
top
been
3.
landing in the
Right,
fifth
but
spot.
That's not lottery then. That's
But
not.
look, But
Shit, I
Scott,
play
the
lottery
bottom,
all the time, and I never fucking win, and I play the same number.
Scott,
It's
but
supposed
look,
to come out.
the bottom five since 2019, right? The bottom five since
Nigga
2019
said I
has
never
all.
fucking win.
The bottom five since 2019 has never finished below
Fuck 'em.
8. Every
Yeah, but
last one
then
of the bottom five has had at least a top lottery pick.
ain't nobody been 10 go to get the number 1 pick. So if you want to
I
really,
mean,
if you
New
really want to
Orleans,
be
New
honest,
Orleans did.
Dallas shouldn't even be in the top 6 or 7.
It seems to me if you give the Lakers something, you get the number 1 pick.
No, but that's not lottery. That's not tanking. Then now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It should be. It's unfair.
To me, it's not even about the number 1 pick though. It's about making sure that your pick, even if you're not
You
1,
can't
2,
be
or
sure
3,
if you're not the number 1 pick. It's not even right.
But-
If the number 1 pick is given to somebody, then everybody's getting fucked on that list.
even with that,
It
but
rolls down the hill.
What they don't tell you about and I said this, what they don't tell you about tanking is that you want to make sure that your pick ceiling is high, but you also want to make sure that your floor is high on the same pick.
Yeah,
I mean, at least with Utah, they may have got screwed, but
Yeah,
them
they got
niggas can
screwed.
pick they could pick the prospect that we want, but at least at 5.
Yeah, I mean that's only because that's what we want. If
Right,
that's what we want.
Right, hold on. I just wanted to show y'all before we leave. Y'all know I close at the 2-hour mark,
Yeah.
so that y'all could. I want y'all to enjoy the shorts. Pause. That sounds crazy. 2 in the morning to grown men, but the video shorts. I want y'all to
Pause. What?
look at
No,
those
pause.
and share those. I gotta find out a way to make it where everybody can comment. But I wanted to show y'all this before I left. This is what happened with the Nets in the draft. Times moving up twice. Times staying in the same spot, 7. Times moving down, 5. So it shows more times than not we stay in the same spot. It seems like Nets fans are unsettled about staying at the 8th spot. Shout to Dylan Press and everybody creating all of these Iceman, all of these different content creators creating these mock drafts. I did a few. But again, if we move up, I'm not gonna lie. I do want to solidify a Dylan Harper, a Fizz, or Ace Bailey. Other than that, I don't see it necessary for us to move up.
If we move
Right.
back,
If you're not getting that,
what happened if we move
forget
back?
about
Y'all
it.
now consider
we-
that possibility. What if we move
No,
back?
no. If
Move back.
we move
Nah, I
back
wanna move
easy,
back.
I want to make sure we got 2 lottery picks. Other than that, I feel like we hustling backwards.
Right.
If we
moving
gonna
back is
move back,
crazy.
let's say we move back and we for the 8th pick, we get, I don't know, maybe the 11th and the 10th and 11th pick. Then it might make sense. Or maybe the 11th and 12th at that's it. I'm not negotiating past that. You feel what I'm saying? But I think it's for interesting conversation, man. And to your point, Easy, bro, it's the 25th. Today is the 10th. We got 15 days exactly before the draft, man. We here now. I'm still alive. Shout out to everybody still alive, making it through all of this. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody all across the world. Shout out to all of the Nets fans. We the best fans. I'm just fitting to close out. And I really do want y'all to go check out those small time videos. Shout out to Brooklyn LM. Shout out to Lee 4788. Shout out to Easy E. Shout out to Scott. And y'all can tag me if y'all got some content. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because when the next game? When's game 3? Game 3 is Wednesday. If game 3 is Wednesday, y'all can tag me.
Yeah,
if
it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, so definitely tag me and let me know what y'all, if y'all want to, let me see some comment or content, or if y'all want to, you know what I mean, do a share stream or split a show or whatever y'all want to do. We could get to it. Shout out to Go James Kingdom in the building. Yeah, I'll be in the chat on your page. Wednesdays at 8:30. That's where you at. All right, copy that. Oh, Wednesday at the game. Yeah, I'm definitely tapping into that. Hold on.
Shout out to Go James Kingdom. I was over there on FYM. That was a fucking comedy over there, boy.
Well, what happened?
Nah, there was a lot going on over there. They were talking about Kobe, and they were talking about basically just like his legacy. Like if Kobe's a sidekick, so if you're gonna give we have to acknowledge Kobe as a sidekick, and whatever you do, whatever credit you do give Kobe, you have to give it to Scottie Pippen. Things of that nature. But it's basically also Kobe shit.
Okay. I gotta check it. I gotta check it out. Shout out to Go James Kingdom and FYF Sports. Subscribe to them both. I've been on the panel, I think, once with Go James Kingdom, but I'll be in the chat more. So he got good content. Definitely a LeBron fan. Going hard at joining in them. Interesting content, man. And again, man, shout out to all the fans, but y'all know how I'm on it. Nets fans is the best fans. Again, subscribe to Sky at Apartment Gamer. Y'all already know what it is with Easy. When he pull up, he got the panel lit. Shout out to Leaf 4788. Subscribe to him. Shout out to Brooklyn LM. Always got the panel lit. Y'all already know what it is. Again, check out the small videos, man. Check out the small videos, man. Y'all gonna hear yourself on there, and y'all be talking.
It's the clips, my nigga. The clips.
The clips. Yes, check out the clips. All right. So again, like I said, tomorrow, y'all already know the game not coming on. If y'all trying to get into some content, y'all could just tag me on X, Twitter, whatever. And you know what I'm saying? We could get to it. That's Easy, that's Leaf, that's Scott, that's any Brooklyn LM. That's all of y'all, you know what I'm saying? But once more, Nets fans is the best fans. I'm gonna get with y'all a little later today. Peace.